Hi, my name is Emily. I'm from the United States, but now I live in Japan. I work as an English teacher in a small city here. It's a very interesting experience. In this video, I'd love to share with you 10 short stories about my life abroad. I'll tell you why I moved to Japan, what it's like to teach here, the foods I've tried, and many fun and surprising things that happened along the way. If you enjoy listening to real-life English in a slow, clear way, you're in the right place. Just relax, listen, and enjoy the journey with me. Are you ready? Let's begin. Why I moved to Japan. 2 years ago, I made a big decision. I decided to leave my home in the United States and move to Japan. It wasn't an easy choice, but it was something I had always dreamed of. Ever since I was a teenager, I've been interested in Japanese culture. I loved watching Japanese movies and learning about the food, traditions, and history. In college, I studied education and took a few classes about teaching English abroad. That's when I started to think, maybe I can live and teach in another country. After I finished university, I worked as a teacher in my hometown for a year. It was a great experience, but I wanted something new. So, I applied for a job teaching English in Japan, and I got it. I was so happy and excited, but also a little scared. When I arrived in Japan, everything felt different. The language, the food, the streets, even how people greet each other. At first, I felt lost. I couldn't read the signs or understand what people were saying. But step by step, I started to learn and get used to it. Now I live in a small but beautiful city near the mountains. I teach English at a local school, and my students are wonderful. They are curious, kind, and always ready to learn. Every day brings something new, and I feel lucky to be here. Moving to Japan was one of the biggest decisions in my life, and also one of the best. It taught me to be brave, open-minded, and to enjoy learning from a new culture. My first day as a teacher. I still remember my first day as a teacher in Japan. I woke up very early because I was both excited and nervous. I wore my best clothes and made sure everything looked neat. I wanted to make a good first impression. When I arrived at the school, the building looked big and clean. The teachers and staff were friendly and welcomed me with big smiles. Some of them could speak a little English, and they helped me find my classroom. My classroom was on the second floor. It was bright, with big windows and colorful posters on the walls. There were small desks and chairs, and everything was very clean and tidy. I stood in front of the board and waited for my students to come in. Then, the bell rang. About 20 students entered the room and looked at me with curious eyes. Some smiled, and a few looked a little shy. I smiled back and said, "Hello everyone, my name is Emily." At first, the room was quiet, but after I introduced myself and played a small icebreaker game, the students started to relax. They laughed and enjoyed the activity. Some students even tried to speak English with me, which made me very happy. I taught a simple lesson about greetings and feelings. We practiced saying, "How are you?" and answering with, "I'm happy," "I'm tired," or "I'm excited." The students repeated after me, and I could see they were trying their best. After the class, one student came up to me and said, "Teacher, fun!" That one small word made my whole day. I knew then that I had made the right choice. My first day wasn't perfect, but it was full of smiles and small successes. Since that day, I've continued to learn and grow as a teacher, and I've never forgotten how brave I felt standing in front of my first class in Japan. What I love about Japanese culture. One of the best things about living in Japan is learning about the culture. It's so different from where I'm from, and every day feels like a new adventure. There are so many things I love about Japanese culture, but let me share just a few. First, I love how polite people are. In Japan, it's very common to bow when greeting someone. People say thank you and sorry often, and they always try to be respectful. It makes daily life feel calm and peaceful. I also enjoy how clean and quiet everything is. Even in busy cities, the streets are clean and people don't make a lot of noise. On trains, for example, most people sit quietly or use headphones. It's very different from what I was used to, but I like it a lot. Another thing I love is Japanese food. There are so many delicious dishes. I used to think Sushi was the only famous Japanese food, but now I know there's so much more. I've tried ramen, takoyaki, tempura, and even some foods I can't pronounce. Every meal feels like a fun discovery. Japanese culture also values nature and beauty. There are many parks, gardens, and temples that are so peaceful and beautiful. I enjoy walking in nature and seeing how each season is celebrated. In spring, everyone goes out to see the cherry blossoms. It's like the whole country stops just to enjoy the flowers. I also admire how people here work together and help each other. There is a strong feeling of community. For example, when I didn't know how to buy a train ticket, a kind stranger helped me even though we didn't speak the same language. That small moment made me feel welcome. Living in Japan has helped me understand the culture in a deep way. It's not just about learning facts or watching videos. It's about seeing, feeling, and living it every day. That's why I love being here so much. A funny moment in class. Being a teacher in a new country means you never know what might happen. Sometimes, small mistakes turn into big laughs, and that's what makes teaching fun. Let me tell you about one funny moment that I still remember clearly. It was a Friday morning, and I was teaching a group of 10-year-old students. They were full of energy, maybe because the weekend was coming. That day, we were learning about animals. I had pictures of animals like dogs, cats, lions, and elephants. The students were practicing how to say, "It's a cat," "It's a lion," and so on. To make the lesson more fun, I decided to play a game. I covered the pictures and gave hints like, "This animal is big. It has a long nose." The students would shout, "Elephant," and get very excited. Then came the funny part. I showed a picture of a bat, the small flying animal. But when I asked, "What is this?" one student stood up and shouted, "Batman!" Everyone laughed, including me. The student thought the animal was the superhero, not the real animal. He even made a funny face and said, "I am Batman," in a deep voice. It was so unexpected and cute that I couldn't stop laughing. After that, every time I said the word bat, the students would smile or pretend to fly around the room. Even weeks later, they still remembered that moment. And more importantly, they remembered the word bat, which was great. That day reminded me that learning should be fun. When students laugh, they feel more relaxed and are not afraid to speak. And when teachers laugh too, the classroom becomes a happy place. So even though it was a small moment, it brought us closer and made the lesson unforgettable. I still smile when I think about it. Teaching is not always easy, but moments like this make everything worth it. Trying new foods in Japan. One of the most exciting things about living in Japan is trying the food. Before I moved here, I had only eaten sushi a few times. I didn't know much about Japanese food, but now I've tried so many amazing dishes. At first, I was a little nervous. Some foods looked very different from what I ate back home. For example, the first time I saw a bowl of ramen, I didn't know how to eat it. There were noodles, meat, vegetables, and even an egg all in one bowl. But after one bite, I understood why everyone loves ramen. It was warm, tasty, and full of flavor. Another time, I tried takoyaki. They are small round snacks with pieces of octopus inside. They're soft, hot, and served with a sweet sauce and dried fish flakes on top. I had never eaten octopus before, but it was actually really delicious. One of the most surprising things I tried was natto. It's made from fermented soybeans, and it has a very strong smell. Many people in Japan eat it for breakfast. I didn't like it the first time, but now I can eat a little. It's healthy, and people say it's good for your body. I've also learned that food in Japan is not only tasty, but also beautiful. Even a small lunchbox or bento looks like a work of art. The food is arranged in a careful, colorful way. It shows how much people here care about the little details. Trying new food has helped me learn more about the culture and the people. Sometimes I don't know the name of a dish or I'm not sure how to eat it, but that's okay. My friends or students often help me, and we laugh together when I make mistakes. Food is more than just eating. It's a way to connect, to explore, and to enjoy the moment. I'm really glad I decided to be brave and try new things. Now every meal in Japan feels like a small adventure. Learning Japanese, my experience. When I moved to Japan, I didn't speak any Japanese. I knew a few words like konnichiwa, hello, and arigato, thank you, but that was it. I quickly realized that if I wanted to live comfortably and connect with people, I needed to learn the language. At first, I tried learning from books and apps. I practiced the alphabet, listened to common phrases, and repeated them many times. It was hard. Japanese has 3 writing systems: hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Remembering the characters felt like learning to read all over again. Then, I joined a beginner Japanese class at a local community center. There, I met people from other countries who were also learning. Our teacher was very kind and patient. We started with simple greetings, numbers, and daily expressions. One day, I tried using Japanese at a convenience store. I said, "Kore kudasai," which means, "this one, please." The cashier smiled and said something quickly in Japanese. I didn't understand, but I nodded and smiled back. It was a small step, but I felt proud. Every day, I learn a little more. Sometimes, I understand what people say on the train or in a cafe. Other times, I feel completely lost. But I remind myself, it's okay to make mistakes. That's how we learn. My students love helping me with new words. If I say something wrong, they gently correct me. Sometimes they laugh, but in a friendly way. We often teach each other new things, English and Japanese. Learning a language takes time, but I've come to enjoy the process. It's not just about memorizing words. It's about understanding the culture, the people, and how they think. I still have a long way to go, but I'm no longer afraid to speak. Even if I make mistakes, I try. And every time I understand something new, I feel a little more at home in Japan. A trip to Kyoto. Last month, I took a weekend trip to Kyoto, one of the most beautiful cities in Japan. It was my first time visiting, and I had always heard that Kyoto was full of history, temples, and nature. So, I packed my bag, charged my camera, and got on a train early Saturday morning. The train ride from Osaka to Kyoto was short, just about 30 minutes. But when I arrived, I felt like I had entered a different world. The streets were quieter, and the buildings looked more traditional. There were many small shops, wooden houses, and people walking in kimonos. My first stop was Fushimi Inari Shrine. You might have seen photos of it. It's famous for its thousands of red gates that form long tunnels. I walked through the gates, and it felt like magic. The path went up a mountain, and as I climbed higher, I saw a beautiful view of the city below. Next, I visited Kinkaku-ji, the Golden Pavilion. It's a temple covered in gold, standing next to a peaceful pond. The reflection of the golden building in the water was like a painting. I just stood there for a few minutes, enjoying the quiet and beauty. For lunch, I had yudofu, which is a hot tofu dish. It's a specialty in Kyoto. At first, I didn't think tofu could be very interesting, but it was soft, warm, and tasty, perfect for a cool day. In the afternoon, I walked through the Arashiyama bamboo grove. Tall green bamboo surrounded the path, and the sound of the wind moving through the stalks was calming. There weren't many people, so it felt like a secret forest. At the end of the day, I sat by the river and watched the sunset. Kyoto felt peaceful and full of charm. It was so different from the busy city life I'm used to. That night, I stayed in a small guest house, and the owner even taught me how to make green tea the traditional way. This short trip reminded me how much there is to explore in Japan. Sometimes, just a train ride away, you can find a completely different world. I can't wait to go back to Kyoto again, maybe in the spring, when the cherry blossoms are in full bloom. Joining a local festival. One of the most exciting experiences I've had in Japan was joining a local summer festival. Before I moved here, I had seen videos of Japanese festivals, but I never imagined I'd take part in one myself. It all started when one of my coworkers invited me to her neighborhood festival in a small town near Osaka. She said it would be a great way to experience traditional Japanese culture. Of course, I said yes. When I arrived, I was amazed by the colors, the sounds, and the happy atmosphere. There were paper lanterns hanging everywhere, food stalls lined the streets, and people were wearing yukata-like cotton summer kimonos. I decided to try on a yukata too. My friend helped me choose one with a blue and white pattern, and she showed me how to wear it properly. At first, I felt a little shy, but once I saw other people smiling at me and saying, "Oh, you look good," I felt more comfortable. We walked through the festival, trying different foods like yakisoba, shaved ice, and grilled corn. The smell of sweet and savory dishes filled the air. Children were playing games like goldfish, scooping, and ring toss. There was music, dancing, and even taiko drumming on a big stage. Then came the parade. People carried a big mikoshi, a portable shrine, through the streets while shouting and moving in rhythm. It looked heavy, but everyone worked together with big smiles. The energy was amazing. Later, we joined a Bon Odori dance circle. The dance was simple and repetitive, so even beginners like me could follow along. I just copied what the others were doing, and soon I was dancing with everyone. It felt like being part of a big, happy family. At the end of the night, fireworks lit up the sky. The bright colors reflected in everyone's eyes, and people clapped and cheered. It was the perfect ending to a magical evening. That night, I realized how kind and welcoming the community was. Even though I was a foreigner, they made me feel at home. Joining a festival wasn't just about fun, it was about connection, culture, and joy. I'll never forget that experience, and I hope to join many more festivals in the future. My daily routine in Japan. Living in Japan has changed my daily routine in many ways. Before, when I lived in my home country, I usually woke up late and rushed to work. But here, things are more organized and peaceful. I usually wake up at 6:30 a.m. It sounds early, but I like starting my day with quiet time. First, I open my window to let in fresh air. Then, I make a cup of green tea and eat a small breakfast, usually rice, eggs, and miso soup. After breakfast, I get ready for work. I'm an English teacher at a small language school. My walk to school takes about 15 minutes. Along the way, I pass a park, a bakery, and sometimes I see school children walking in groups, wearing their bright yellow hats. I start teaching at 9. My students are all ages, some are young children, and others are adults. Each class is a little different, so I try to make lessons fun and easy to understand. We use games, pictures, and lots of speaking practice. At noon, I have lunch with my coworkers. Sometimes we eat at a nearby restaurant, but usually we bring bentos from home. I really enjoy Japanese lunchboxes. They're small but full of different tastes and colors. In the afternoon, I have more classes. When the last class finishes around 5:30 p.m., I clean up the classroom and prepare for the next day. After work, I like to relax. Sometimes I go to the supermarket to buy groceries, or I stop by the convenience store for a snack. Other times, I meet a friend for dinner or go to the gym. Back home, I usually take a shower and call my family or friends. We chat about our day and share funny stories. Before bed, I often read a book or watch a Japanese drama to practice listening. At around 10:30, I turn off the lights and go to sleep. My daily life in Japan is simple, but I feel happy and calm. I enjoy the routine and the little moments that make each day special. Why I love living in Japan. When I first moved to Japan from Canada, I felt nervous and excited. Everything was new, the language, the people, the food, and the lifestyle. But now, after living here for a while, I can honestly say I love it more each day. One of the biggest reasons I enjoy living here is the safety. I feel comfortable walking alone at night, even in a big city. People are respectful, and there's a strong sense of community. That gives me peace of mind every day. Another thing I love is the convenience. Trains are on time, stores are open late, and you can find almost anything you need at a convenience store. Whether I need a quick lunch or a charger, I can always find it nearby. Of course, I can't forget the food. I've always liked sushi, but here I've discovered so much more like curry rice, udon noodles, and matcha desserts. Even simple meals are full of flavor and care. I also enjoy how Japan respects both tradition and modern life. I can visit a centuries-old temple in the morning and enjoy the latest tech at a shopping mall in the afternoon. It feels like the past and future live together here. What touches me most is how kind people are. When I needed help at the train station or when I asked questions at the supermarket, people always tried their best to assist me, even if we didn't speak the same language. Living in Japan has helped me grow. I've become more independent, more open-minded, and more grateful. It's not always easy, but every challenge has taught me something valuable. Japan may not be where I was born, but it has become a big part of who I am. And that's why I truly love living here. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope you enjoyed these stories from my life in Japan. Each one is special to me, and I'm so happy I could share them with you. If you found this video helpful for your English listening practice, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There are more stories coming each with new voices and new experiences. And hey, if you'd like the full transcript of this video, I'd be happy to share it with you. Just leave a comment below and say, "Transcript please," and we'll make sure you get it. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep going. Bye for now.